Everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tkacs, and I'm lucky enough to be out here in Spain right now doing the press launch for the 2024 Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro. That's a long name, but it's an impressive bike. So I did a review on the last generation, and the problem is I didn't have anything to say that told you I want to put it in my garage. Triumph has really stepped up to the plate on this bike. Where it really shines is the motor and the display. So they've updated the display now, so you have the full display they had on their 1200, which is their flagship, but the motor on this thing is fantastic. So they bumped it up to 108 horsepower, that's crank horsepower of course, which puts it smack dead center of its two primary competitors, which would be the 890 and the Desert X. BMW's 850 doesn't even need to come to play, and I haven't spent any time on the 900, so I can't talk about that bike. But it puts it right in the middle. But it's not about numbers, it's about performance. This bike is so smooth out on the road, and when you get off-road, it really has punch, and that's what the old model missed. It always felt good on the road. It was always the choice if you wanted to go touring on pavement. But what it lacked is a lot of excitement when you got dirty. It was capable, but it wasn't fun. This motor is fun. Not only that, the other thing they brought back with this motor is it growls. When you get up around 5,500 RPM, you start to hear it in there, that purr starts to go away, and at 65, if you got the throttle open, you can really hear it growl. It's not a loud bike, which I really like. I love quiet, but the motor just growls underneath you and you know you're back on a triple. And that's a big deal because it's the only one that's not running twin in its class. So horsepower is solid, it's good, it feels good, but it's way more than the numbers show. I'm just telling you, riding the bike, this bike is an absolute win. The bike still has to be stopped to put it into the off-road mode. So if you're coming out of sport mode or out of your road mode, you need to stop the motorcycle at the edge of the dirt, go into the menu, select your off-road mode. You have off-road pro or off-road, and then you can head on in. Now you can switch back to road mode without stopping, but you can't go back into dirt. It does hold those settings fairly well. Now, as we know, by law, all these motorcycle manufacturers have to go back to an ABS setting when the bike is turned back on. So if you turn the key off and turn it back on, it'll cycle back through and it'll automatically put you back into road mode unless you use the shortcut. So there's a 2-button shortcut on the left side. You hit the M button, you confirm it, it'll take you back to your last setting. So if you were in sport mode or you were in off-road mode, it'll take you right back to that. Now, as far as some of the details on this bike, the things that matter when we're living with it, I'm going to be honest, when we took the bike out and rode it, not only did we ride hard on pavement, but we rode really hard on the light off-road sections. And there were definitely some pretty hard hits to that front rim, some stuff with all the dust and all the other riders out there. And there's no damage. Everything seemed very strong. Now, granted, I've only ridden it for a day, but I rode it really hard for a day. Rims are solid, tires felt great, the handling on the road and off-road felt good. Now the skid plate that comes on the bike now is definitely a step up from what came on the bikes before. It was very thin. This one is still not going to be your really heavy duty, we're going to do stupid stuff on the motorcycle kind of a skid plate. This one's a little thicker, but it still sits pretty close to the engine case at the very bottom. And there's some exposed areas, but certainly for what we were doing, just kicking up boulders and rocks, it definitely did its job. If I'm going to be plowing this into hard surfaces and big boulder rocks, then of course no OEM skid plate's going to hold up to that. They did improve the vibration dampening on the handlebars, and it is much smoother riding down the road. The other one wasn't not smooth, this one is just smoother, but they moved the handlebars 15 millimeters closer to the rider. And I suspect this is because a lot of you really like those risers, and when you're riding off-road you want to be standing up and very vertical, and by pulling that closer it makes it more comfortable when you're standing upright, and it's more comfortable when you're sitting. But for me, when you're really riding aggressive off-road, it just brought the bars in a little closer. I did like that older position where it was a little bit farther forward. That's just a personal preference as far as handlebar settings go. The valves were at 12,000 miles on the old version. They're now up to 18,000 miles for valve checks and adjustments, which puts it on par with everybody else. So definitely there's nothing lagging on the bike that gives the others an advantage. Standard with the bike, not only does it have all of the normal electronics that come on these with the ABS, the traction control, the rider modes. This one also has rear turn signals that flash if you start braking hard to let traffic know. And a lot of those little extras. It also comes standard with heated grips and the heated seat. And that really makes this bike a bargain, because right now it's going to be listing just over 17,000 in the US. And that's going to be, by the time you take anything else on the market and you put the same features into it, it's going to be, and there's definitely no bargain parts on it. So I definitely like the price point on it. And honestly, if I didn't just have a whole bunch of bikes I put in my garage right now, this would be on the very, very short list, on the top of the list. It's fantastic, because again, it's the best road bike in its class, for sure, hands down. And off-road, it is no slouch. It is a ton of fun. For those of you that are a little bit short of inseam, the bikes now come with multiple different seats for height, and this is really important and can never be stressed enough. A narrow bike or a very narrow frame makes a huge difference for touching the ground. And this one is very narrow at the front of the seat. So between that narrow frame and the different seat heights, it's going to be a great opportunity for riders with less inseam. So if you are one of those riders, make sure you check this bike out before you make your purchase of anything. So put it on your list. This is not only improved and fun on the pavement, but it is now absolutely a hoot in the dirt off-road. And that's what makes it worth looking at if you're looking for another or a mid-range adventure bike. If you're shopping for one and they're offering you a deal on one of the old ones, don't take it. Spend full price and get one of the new ones. And if you think it's worth the upgrade and you have one of the older ones, you need to go ride one before you decide not to grab one. Hey guys, thanks for watching the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you leave some comments down below. I know there were some questions about the bike. I'm still waiting on some answers. Leave any questions you have down below in the comments. I'll see if I can get answers for you and put those back out. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit like, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Take care. To give a little perspective, I want to make it very clear, there was absolutely no incentives, payments, or discounts given to me by Triumph to make this video, or for that fact, any review or any impression videos that I do. I am 100% supported by viewers of the channel like you. That's what keeps the channel alive. Now, with that said, this was an impression video, not a bike review. It was only 2 days, and I didn't have a chance to really put the bike through its paces and look for those little details, those little nuances that make a bike really stand out, or that as an owner you look at and go, gosh, I wish I would have known this before I picked up the bike. Because of that, I reached out to Triumph USA, they're based on the East Coast, and asked them if I could get a hold of a bike this spring while I'm out east teaching. And they said they were very interested in trying to get a bike into my hand. So hopefully, crossing our fingers, that March, April, May, either one of those months or all of those months, I'll have one of these Tigers that I can put and teach on. That means I can run it through the obstacles, through the challenges. I can take it out on the training tours and with the riders, and then also go out on my own. I could put Paul on the bike. Obviously, he's a bigger rider. He also rides different than I do, different style. I could put Greg on it, who's a smaller rider, also rides differently than me, and see what their impression is, what their thoughts are, and together come up with a more complete review and more importantly, how it stands up against some of the other bikes out there. Enjoy the blooper reels.
Just say your name and publication company.
My name is Brett Tkacs. I'm with Brett Tkacs, representing Brett Tkacs from the Brett Tkacs channel and BrettTkacs.com. Company name is Brett Tkacs LLC. So if you're looking for me, it's Brett Tkacs. All right, perfect. All right, I'll start from here. And I'm lucky enough to be here in Malaga, Spain, doing the press launch for the 2024 Triumph Tiger 900. Malaga. What the hell did I say? Malaga. Okay, Malaga. All right, yeah. Too many countries. Thank you.
That's all right.
All right, we'll start over.
I'll save you the comment.
I'll just say Spain. How's that? Hi.